Hi everyone, I'm Dehui Kong. Today my topic is sleep restriction affects inflammatory cytokine levels and the implication for liver disease. Um, so today I'm going to talk about this topic from these five these five aspects. So firstly is sleep restriction, and then the inflammatory cytokine, and then the liver disease, and then the research question, and finally I'll talk about the methodology I want to use. So firstly is the sleep restriction. So what is sleep restriction? Sleep restriction is a method of curing insomnia by limiting a person's total time in bed. So, so sleep restriction is actually like restricting time in bed. And the total sleep restriction in human is associated with increased daytime sleepiness, decreased performance, and hormonal di disturb disturbances. And actually, there are some research show that sleep loss is associated with significant sleepiness and increased secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines. So now we know that the sleep loss is associated with these inflammatory cytokines. Now we want to know what what is this pro-inflammatory cytokines. Mm, so cytokine is small secreted proteins released by cells have a specific effect on the interactions and communications between cells. And these cytokines may act on the cells that secrete them and on nearby cells or on distant cells. So, and now we know what is cytokine. And then now we still want to know what is inflammatory cytokine. So the inflammatory cytokine is produced by activated macrophages and involved in the upregulation of inflammatory reactions. There are there are some inflammatory cytokines which are IL-1 beta, IL-6, and TNF alpha. This this these cytokines such as these four cytokines are involved in the process of pathological pain, so they can cause pain. Now we know the cytokines and the restriction sleep. We now want to know what is liver disease and what is the relationship between liver disease and inflammatory cytokines. So, the liver disease is any disturbance of liver function that causes illness. And the liver disease is also referred to as hepatic disease. So it's also called hepatic disease. And there are several cytokines can mediate hepatic inflammation. Among the various cytokines, the pro-inflammatory cytokine tumor necrosis factor alpha, which is TNF alpha, we mentioned before, has emerged as a key factor in various aspects of liver disease. So, that means the inflammatory cytokines is associated with this liver disease. and these cytokines may play a key factor. And what I want to say is the so now we know the relationship between the liver disease and the inflammatory cytokines. So now now we may think that maybe the antagonism of TNF alpha and other injury related cytokines in liver disease may be a treatment of this disease. This this is what I want to know in the further research when I conduct my research. Can be can can these antagonisms be a treatment? So here is the research questions. How does sleep restriction affect inflammatory cytokine level and the relationship between inflammatory cytokine and liver disease? And the last part is the methodology. The methodology I want to use is quantitative, and I want to conducting some experiments to solve the solve these questions, and I want to limit the sleepers bedtime and detect the level of their inflammatory cytokines to see how this restriction sleep can affect inflammatory cytokine. And that's all. Thank you.